Walt Whitman, in his poem I Hear America Singing, referred to America as a place of varied carols. These were the carols of carpenters, of masons, of shoemakers, of people in their various lifestyles. Across the country, people have made their own livings, working towards their dreams and reaching high. There's a saying, in New York, anyone who can work can work. This is the American dream. The idea that you can come from anywhere, start from anywhere, and accomplish your dreams as long as you work hard enough. For almost as long as the United States has existed, has been a guiding principle of our nation. Think of Gatsby, for instance. His endless pursuit of his dream has served as one of the most influential stories in American history. Regardless of how it ended for him, Gatsby's tale is emblematic of the American pursuit. I think the most notable part of this ideal of ours is the anywhere line. The eternally green Statue of Liberty has stood as a beacon to the outside world for a long time. Joseph Bruchack's Ellis Island, for example, describes its color as similar to dreams of forests and meadows waiting for those who had worked 1,000 years yet never owned their own. The U.S. has been built on openness throughout the years, and as a result, millions of souls have been drawn from their homes in search of a better tomorrow, influencing the nation's trajectory in almost unquantifiable proportions. That in mind,
within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country.
The rhetoric we're seeing now, I'm not so sure it supports that particular part of the American dream. Indeed, the Trump administration has brought with it sweeping and wide-reaching changes to immigration policy in only its first 3 months. From mass deportation to officers that go into homes and drag out those deemed illegal, to arguments on whether or not these same officers should go around dragging children out of schools, things have definitely changed plenty. To that extent, I think there's a pertinent question to be answered. How does the American dream fare under the Trump administration? Before we can draw any conclusions, it's important to understand the policies put into place by President Trump and their effects on the people impacted. The most significant ones thus far have been an asylum ban for people crossing the U.S.-Mexican border, the intensification of ICE activities as they have gained significant support from Trump's executive orders, the holding of deportees in Guantanamo Bay, and the end of several Biden-era executive orders, such as one that has created a task force used to reunify formerly separated families. Beyond this, there are also several policies and motions that are locked behind court processes. These are the end of the refugee resettlement program, the end of the birthright citizenship to children born in the U.S., and the ability for ICE agents to operate in restricted areas such as schools and churches. That many of these are actively being fought over in court as we speak indicates how far-reaching these reforms are. Indeed, almost everyone who's an immigrant has been given at least one more thing to think about, whether it's rational or not. The most obvious and attention-grabbing of these has been, of course, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, more commonly known as ICE. One of Trump's main campaign points of the most recent election was the crime committed by illegal immigrants.
Our streets are safer for law-abiding American citizens, and this administration is focused on detaining, arresting, and deporting illegal criminal aliens.
Despite this, a large portion of these initial deportations have been illegal immigrants without criminal records, and even those whose application for citizenship is under review, seemingly going against the notions of a more controlled deportation program. For example, of the 1,200 people detained by ICE on January 26, 613 of them didn't have criminal records. It's important to call out here that being in the U.S. illegally is a civil offense, a case that doesn't always specifically involve punishment, and not strictly a criminal one, despite what the term illegal may evoke in one's mind. These aren't just numbers either, there are real, documented cases of this occurring. Take the story of Camila Munoz, for instance. She's a woman married to a U.S. citizen who was pulled aside in an airport by an ICE agent and asked if she was a citizen. She responded that she wasn't, and that she and her husband had taken the legal steps so that one day she might get U.S. citizenship. She was, in turn, taken into detention. Munoz had overstayed her visa. She and her husband reasoned that the government knew that she had applied for a green card and that she had paid taxes before. This, in fact, did not matter. Hey, this isn't important or anything, but her husband voted for Trump despite knowing her visa was expired. I'm not trying to say they had it coming or anything, but, That aside, what should be obvious to you by now is that Trump's immigration policy is most definitely not a precise scalpel. It's more like a buzzsaw aimed at a wooden house. Beyond this, the banning of asylum seeking goes hand in hand with ICE activities. People living in the U.S. seeking asylum are in fact free game for detention. That means it's possible for years of attempts to gain asylum to go up in smoke the moment you show your face at the wrong restaurant. There are even known examples of this. Take the case of Carlos, full name undisclosed, for example. 18-year-old Carlos is a Venezuelan who came to the U.S. through an app called CBP-1, a mobile app created by the federal government used by asylum seekers to schedule an appointment at the U.S.-Mexico border. People who got an appointment were allowed entry into the U.S. while awaiting their hearing. After buying his first bicycle on January 25th in anticipation of enjoying a day out the following day, immigration officers knocked on his doors the next morning. Within minutes, Carlos was in custody. His parents have come out and said that despite ICE's claims of Carlos being in the video with firearms and drugs, no warrant was produced, nor did they show any such video despite his mother asking directly. Carlos, of course, does not have a criminal record. Cases like these have spread shadows over others. While it's true CBP-1 was shut down by Trump soon after he came into office, Carlos did, in fact, enter the US legally. No one quite knows who's safe and who's not, but more on the effects of that later. For now, we've seen the most visible of these policy changes, and we can explore how they've affected the populace and their state of minds. The most defining feature of this has been the spread of fear. Communities across the country, businesses and workplaces have seen lower numbers of Latinos showing their faces thanks to a fear of being deported. Take this community in Memphis, for example.
Deportation efforts ramp up across the country. Some say the efforts have fueled fear and unease within Memphis's Latino community.
Of course, it's very normal to be afraid of that because many people do not have legal immigration status.
He says since the increase in deportations, aisles have started to look noticeably empty.
That also makes people fear not going out to work, not going out to do their shopping.
A similar example can be found in New York. In an article posted by CNY Central, Representative Jessica Maxwell of Workers of Central New York, a workers' union with many Latino members, speaks on this, stating, "Every organization and every community that we are aware of is documenting ICE presence, knocking on doors, traffic stops, hanging out at Home Depot, hanging out at other places they think immigrants might be traveling," she said. The article continues from her point, stating, "This has led to people being afraid to leave their homes, abstaining from going to work or grocery shopping, concerned about having years of work to achieve asylum going up in flames, as ICE agents appear in Onondaga County communities where Maxwell said they typically do not operate." And it's not just ICE. Other Trump policies have also made the atmosphere just generally more fearful. People subject to deportation are being held in Guantanamo Bay, a place traditionally reserved for terrorists and other traditionally dangerous people. The asylum-seeking process has been suspended. Even just the general rhetoric from Trump and his gang,
They're poisoning the blood of our country.
is far from peacemaking or appeasing. All this in mind, I believe the question can be posed. Do we, as a country, still follow all of the ideals of the American dream? Do we allow anyone from anywhere to become successful? Can you work if you can work? Is the United States a paragon of opportunity open to all? The immense changes brought forth by the Trump administration have ushered in a new era, both in rhetoric and ideals. Can we continue to say that the American dream is very much alive and well under the Trump administration? All I have to say is, I'm not so sure.